I believe that church age, as it were, is entering into a new season. You see, what we call transition, hey, can be quite troublesome. Because we are switching from a wisdom that produced the results that is now becoming obsolete to a wisdom that is required. And change is painful, but it is change that makes champions. We are switching from one narrative of church culture to another narrative of church culture. And let me tell you the reason why the shift is important. There are questions we've not been able to answer. That if truly church is as important as we say it is, and we're as powerful as we claim to be, and our revival is strong, why has our Christianity not bettered societal change? This is not my question. They're on the table for all of us. That if the prayers we are praying are that effective, this country should be better. They are weighing all of us in the balance. That we have traced quite a number of people who are stealing public funds, and we've traced them to church. How are they convenient under our sermons? That somebody will say that I slept with a guy, but he didn't buy me Lamborghini. I will go to buy it, and the pastor will dedicate it. So it looks like we have been able to do something that looks like just get the result. Once you get the result, God accepts it. So there's pressure, and process is no longer dignified. So everybody is under pressure. You start a ministry, nobody honors you if you don't have a big car. So we lie, and let me tell you something. This continent will know no change till the church change. All right. So you make the decision. And the question that is being asked in this church age cannot be swept under the carpet. Let me tell you something. I called a man of God in Kenya. So I said, pray and prepare. I said, because what happened to Nigeria is about to happen to Kenya. I told him. I sat down and I watched the news, saw the killings, the youth rising, the agitation. It's all over the world. A generation is rising with questions. The answer to that generation is not faith. They need proofs. People are sitting down and they are getting tired of our organized religion. The age of religion, as it were, is fading. Why won't people suspect pastor? Instrumentally suspect pastor? Pastors? Because we've built the user culture. Okay? That you can serve 40 years in a ministry and discover that the ministry has no candlestick before the throne. So we become dogs that are toothless, that can bite. I'm saying, listen to what I'm saying, because my duty is to show you that there is nothing in the smoke. What that means is that when we teach these things, there will be reactions. Or stand. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay? Stand. I cannot come and go and die. Should not be made a chief in his father's house. So there are questions being asked. It looks like a template is missing. Because that's what Paul said. Look at what he said. 1 Corinthians chapter number 3. Verse 10. As a wise master builder, Message translation. Alright. Look at it. Using the gift God gave me as a good architect, I designed blueprints. So there's supposed to be a blueprint for the church. If we function by this blueprint, there's equality. That the church in South Africa is not so different from the church in Nigeria. Because once we deviate from the blueprint, the position of a pastor becomes lucrative. It becomes juicy. It becomes what you desire once everything is failing. And you see, we must self-correct before the world will correct us. The church in Nigeria, the church in Africa must self-correct. correct, because already we are behind schedule. There is a generation that is being lost entirely, who doesn't want to have anything to do with our God, because we've not been able to convert the true riches of the kingdom into what is producing visible and viable structures. That you can sit down before your TV and hear and just see this is something being done, and you know without even knowing deep things. This is wrong. Okay, and see, what we have done over the years is to be very political with lives and sit on the fence. Let people do what please them. But there's a blueprint. And the duty of the church, if we follow that blueprint, we will arrive at God's wisdom. Let me show you some of the blueprint for pastors. Okay? 1 Timothy chapter number 3. Let's start reading from verse 1. Let's read the Message translation. It will shock you what you see. If anyone wants to provide leadership in the church, good. But there are preconditions. A leader must be well thought of, committed to his wife, cool and collected, accessible and hospitable. He must know what is what. The word there in King James is not a novice. You know, you can talk about the Bible you don't read. All right, go back. Verse 3 now, quickly. Not be overfond with wine, not pushy, but gentle, not thin-skinned, nor what? Money hungry. If the motive for doing ministry is money, it's dead on arrival. And it's easy. In fact, someone told you now that a pastor who is sincere cannot have money. Yes. She called him, say, pastor who is very hot. Say, your pastor is sincere. Say, you can't have money. They say, church people do well around manipulators. So it's becoming a trend. That even with all the word you know, you can get somewhere now and somebody say, as I'm looking at you now, Kalo Maha. And all those things is for money. Okay, because once the pulpit becomes the seat of money changers, everybody wants to take the church cake. Nobody, see, don't blame anybody. It's our cake. If we are built on mammon, everybody wants to share it. And that's what we do on Sunday. The number one, the real and the only asset of a church is Christ. That's it. Continue that scripture. Not be overfond with wine. Look, go back. Verse 3 now. Okay, verse 4. Okay, not money hungry. He must handle his own affairs well, attentive to what? His own children, and having their respect. Yes. For if someone is unable to handle his own affairs, how can he take care of God's church? Yes. He must not be a new believer. Now, hold on a minute. Are you seeing the blueprint of the church? So what that means is there is a blueprint for people to come in as precious, then be tutored. Years ago, right, this issue of church or own fair share. And I'll tell you a story. It's a very painful one. Somebody came one time to church. Get back. Not the church had not started. And there was a major move of God when he came. In less than 3 weeks, he got everything. He couldn't understand many operations of the church. So later we found out that he converted from other religion to Christianity, and in less than 6 months he became a pastor. We were getting revelations of scriptures from Google. He didn't know much. So it means there must be a structured system for equipping people. There must be a structured system for training. There must be. It doesn't matter what kind of ministry. There must be. That people are placed on a template.